Riders. How many sessions are needed to transform a horse? That's a question I have asked myself and that I get a lot. Because after all, we want quick results, right? And we don't want to do all the boring stuff because we want to have fun and go riding. And in this live, I thought I'd first talk a little bit about the reasons why the sessions needed may vary with different horses and also different trainers, and also what we can do to actually make a quicker progress with our horse, because some of you are now celebrating the 4th of July, and congratulations with Independence Day, which was yesterday. And you might also have some holidays scheduled where you may want to have some great rides with your horse. So I get that the fewer sessions we can do to prepare the horse, the better. But the time and the reason why it varies from horse to horse, how long it takes, I think depends quite a bit on how long the horse has had the problem. So if we, for instance, have had a horse who's got a habit of bucking and has been doing it for a long time, it is probably going to take a while longer to solve it than if it's a horse who has bucked like only once. Right, so let me know in the comments below if you ever been bucked off a horse. At least I have. And what I found, after being bucked off, is that the retraining of the horse will very much depend on what tools this horse has installed. And this is one of the kind of life-changing moments I had, was being bucked off a horse and realizing that the horse, which I had trained myself, by the way, didn't really have any tools to solve the bucking. I have just been lunching her and riding her. So if you want to fix a problem and you don't really have the tools to fix the problem, then you first need to install the tools, which is going to take longer than if the horse already has the tools you need to fix the problem, if that makes sense. And tools for fixing like bucking and bolting and stuff like that is definitely teaching the horse what I call the bend to stop, so that the horse is able to find its own stop by softening the neck, softening the body, and crossing over behind. And this is not necessarily something we teach a horse in 20 minutes. Yes, Thor says he has not been bucked. If you have not been bucked up, off, stepped on, bitten, rolled on, kicked, or farted on, you don't spend enough time around horses. Yes, I think this happens to all of us sometime during our horse career. But how we solve it will kind of determine a little bit who we are. Yes. And to take the stepping on part, that's actually quite interesting you mentioned, because I was talking to a friend the other day who had been riding in Ireland. And she said, yeah, it was a great ride, except for the first day the horse stepped on my foot and, broke my toe. And I was like, oh, couldn't, the people managing the horse warn you about this? And she said, yeah, but it was all right because she was still able to ride, although her toe was broken. But horses, they know very well where they put their feet. So if a horse kind of steps on us, and our solution is to be careful not to put our foot where the horse can step on it, we are not going to solve the problem. We are maybe going to prevent being stepped on, but we are not going to teach the horse that stepping on people isn't, a good thing to do. So the horse will still step on us, although we don't get stepped on, because we start moving our feet away from the horse. And take care. And I suspect this horse in Ireland, that the people handling it probably knew this horse's tendency to step on people. So they just, made sure they weren't in the horse's way. But the way to solve this is to actually move the horse, you know, not by stepping on the horse, but by telling the horse that we have personal space, right? So the horse isn't kind of moving us, but we are actually moving the horse. And that's how we can solve it. So if we have a bucking problem or a bolting problem or a horse that is spooking problem, we can't really solve it by trying to avoid the bucking and bolting and spooking, but we can install tools so that we can ask the horse to do something the horse can't do without bucking and bolting and spooking, which very often is the bend to stop and the horse crossing over behind, because horses can't buck and they can't bolt and they can't rear when crossing over behind. Yes, and Tammy says, remember to breathe and not just react. Exactly. And it's so much easier to breathe and not just react when we have actually practiced a little standard operating procedure, which the bend to stop actually is. Because another thing that very often happens if a horse spooks or jumps or is kind of in a bolting mode, or you feel that the buck is coming, it's like we hold our breath and we grab the both reins, which isn't helping the situation because the horse can lean on the reins and buck even more, or grab the bit and bolt even more. But what helps is actually to breathe and to just pick up one rein and bend the horse's neck and then ask the horse to cross over behind. And if we as a rider have practiced it and the horse knows it, we have then found a way to empty the worry that has been building up in the horse. Instead of reacting, grabbing both the reins, which is a very natural, thing to do, then we are very often adding worry to the horse and adding stress to the situation. So this is, many riders say that, like, yeah, you can teach the one rein stop in like 20 minutes. I don't really agree with that. I think it takes a little bit longer for the horse to have the pattern of movement and for the rider to have the kind of automatic reaction of picking up one rein instead of two reins when shit hits the fan. Yes, and lots of time spent supporting the horse on the ground will pay many dividends once you are in the stable. And I could not agree more, Thor, because that's actually my second tips here, is to start on the ground and solve the problems there. And it makes riding and retraining the horse so much safer and so much easier, because especially what we practice in Ride Like Viking members is something I and other trainers also call the hooking on. So if we can do this type of groundwork of being able to communicate with the horse through body language on the ground, and also in a way give choices so that the horse chooses the right thing and we release on the right thing, then that's going to be so much more beneficial for the training than trying to control the horse, because we can't really control the horse to never spook or never do something stupid, but we can install tools so that we are able to empty worry and ride safely also when unexpected things happen. So there are so many joining me tonight. That's awesome. And let me know in the comments if you have experienced this, and if you maybe be retraining your own horse, or maybe even retraining a horse for others. And at least what I found with the method of doing the hooking on and giving choices, it's that sometimes, or actually very often, it's much quicker to just tell the horse what to do and kind of make them do the right thing by controlling them and just making them do it, than it is to, set them free in a round pen or a square paddock and influence them to take the right choice. But horses, they learn so much deeper and so much better when they have figured something out themselves and not merely been told what to do and also chosen what to do themselves. That's a completely different knowledge than someone telling them exactly how to do it. And it also, I think, inspires horses to do more from self. So Tommy is joining live from the USA. Awesome. And I'm not sure if I was able to give all these 3 tips now. I think I got a little sidetracked there. But I think the the biggest tip is probably to start on the ground and install the tools you need to actually solve the problem. And don't proceed with riding until the groundwork is good and you have the tools on the ground to actually solve the problem. And I think my second tip, which solves very many problems, is definitely teach yourself and your horse the bend to stop, because it also makes your horse more responsive and soft in the bit, and it also engages their hind when done right. And it's also a great, standard operation safety procedure that not all horses and riders know today. So if we can teach ourselves and our horse this, then we can ride much safer. And the third thing I think will be to, take the time it takes. So don't skip any corners. Like if the horse is difficult to saddle, don't just sweep it under the rug and try riding anyway. Fix the saddling issue and then you can go riding. So by kind of sweeping these issues under the rug and not solving them, we can often get surprised when riding. But by solving these problems, we can also be equally surprised how much better the riding is. And there have been many horses and riders participating in the Ride Like a Viking members program who have done the saddling at Liberty and been surprised that their horse was actually reluctant to be saddled. And they were able to solve it at Liberty. But they basically didn't really realize it because the horses were always tied up when saddled. And some of them even in cross ties. And when the horse is standing in cross ties, they can't really express themselves. So the horse might be standing still because the horse is tied up, but the tension is building up inside the horse. So a simple exercise like this, making sure the horse is comfortable with being saddled and tacked, can do wonders for the riding. And I like to see if you also are doing these kinds of things now, maybe before preparing for a summer trail ride or a holiday with your horse. Or if you are like, my horse is trained, we'll just see how it goes, which often can be more time consuming than actually, checking in on the groundwork, checking in on the riding signals, and definitely install the tools that are needed if they aren't already installed. Yes, so I hope this helps. And in Ride Like a Viking members, we are definitely not taking a summer holiday. I know many programs are, but we are going to continue to offer our weekly lives, Q&As for the members. And also you will, if you are a member, you will definitely keep your access to all the videos with different horses so that you can you have everything you need to succeed. And we are at the moment closed for new members, but we have a waiting list. And if you are on that waiting list, you can actually join when I'm sending you an email, because since we offer weekly live Q&As, there are limited seats in this program so that everyone gets feedback and gets their questions answered. But if you want to learn more about this, so that you, with maybe just a week of preparation, can ride safely on trails this summer, then check out ridelikeaviking.com/course, and you will see a green button there where you can join the waitlist. And once there are spots available, you will get an email from me and the possibility to join. So I hope this helps, and that you also got some inspiration on how you can get actually faster results with horses by solving the actual problem than by sweeping it under the rug, because we can't really expect shit never to hit the fan. So this is definitely not about the horse never spooking or the horse never doing anything wrong or unexpected things never to happen, but it's about being prepared so that we have tools to solve the situation when they come. Because life happens, and that's also part of the fun of riding a horse. It's a living partner, and we don't want them to become robots. Then we would rather ride a motorcycle or a bike or something that always does what it's told. So with these horses, we can't really tell them not to do something, but we can ask them to do something they can't do without doing the undesired behavior. Like, we can't prevent the horse from bucking by grabbing two reins and holding on to them, but we can prevent a horse from bucking by actually doing a bend to stop and ask the horse to cross over behind and softening their body. And that's definitely what's been keeping me safe since I learned my lesson. And I think we've all learned this in one way or the other. Um, like Thor says, like, if we haven't fallen off, then we haven't been riding long enough. Okay, but I hope this helps to make your rides this summer enjoyable. And thank you so much for joining. And if you want to join the waitlist, then check out ridelikeaviking.com/course, and you have a possibility to join and learn exactly how to do all the things I was talking about in this live broadcast. Okay. Thank you so much for joining, and happy summer to you and your horse. Bye for now.